Okay, let's close the eyes. We'll find a nice, naturally comfortable sitting posture. To keep the spine tall, vertical spine. The head, neck, trunk in alignment. Gently pull the neck up, tailbone down. Feel the elongation of the spine. Just making any adjustments to make sure you are comfortable. No strain of any kind. Let the hands rest nicely on your knees, your thighs, your lap, wherever they are positioned. Lift the shoulders up to the ears, let them drop down. Do this a couple more times. Just loosening up the shoulder, very gentle movements. And next time you lift the shoulders up, roll them back and then let them hang loose. Very relaxed arms and the shoulders. A few gentle movements with the neck now, up and down, side to side. A few half circles, full circles, like I mentioned, any random movement that will help you become more aware of the neck muscles. Loosen them up. Finally, let the head rest back in the center now. Soften the facial muscles. Relax the jaws. Just begin to watch your breath now. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, observe the flow at the tip of the nose. Just monitoring the flow as well as the sensation that the breath creates in the nostrils. So the subtle sensation of cooling when you inhale, warmth with exhale. Just enhancing breath awareness, helping us stay in the present moment. Let's recite Om 3 times. Take a deep breath in. Om. Open the eyes softly now. Simple eye exercise. We'll do vertical movement and then horizontal movement. So keep the head in the center, spine comfortably tall. Look up. Ceiling, move the eyes down to the floor and back up. So it's movement in the vertical plane, smooth movement of the eyes without moving the head, up and down. Top and bottom edges, give a brief pause. During the pause, make an extra effort to stretch the eyes gently, exercising the muscles of the eyes, up and down, smooth. The eyes reach the center. Next, close the eyes. That's for a brief moment. Open the eyes, look to the far right and then to the far left and back. So the movement is in the horizontal plane, side to side at the eye level. Try to stretch the eyes a little extra, stretch at the two corners. Give a brief pause there. Simple movements which can go a long way in maintaining good, healthy eyes. Next time you bring the eyes back to the center, close them, rub the palms briskly. Let's cover the eyes softly with the palms. Not pressing against the eyes, just soft curve will help you relax the eye muscles. Lightly rub the eyelids, eyebrows. Massage around the eyes, forehead, sides, cheeks, neck, and throat. Just loosening up, relaxing these muscles. Release now. Softly open the eyes. Namaste everyone, welcome. Day number 13. Our journey exploring our inner universe. That's what we've been saying. And to welcome our friends here, we have Deepa joining us in person today and her good friend Nidhi. So you want to introduce yourself, tell us your first name, last name, where do you work, and why did you decide to wake up early on this beautiful Saturday morning?
My name is Nidhi Goyal. I work in Trilliant Networks, and it's very close to SAS campus. And I wanted to attend last weekend yoga class, but then I got to know my son has to play next morning, and it was early. So I told Deepa that I don't want to disrespect teacher, and let's do it next week. And she approached me yesterday and asked me if I can do in person. We both can do it. I'm like, okay. So I'm a morning person. I get up at 5:30.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Don't do anything though, just finishing the household errands. I have to get back to exercise and yoga. So yeah, here I am. I hope I continue it at home as well.
Welcome, wonderful, great to have you.
Thank you.
All right. So we small group today, surprising. So let's. So today, what I will do is, we'll do a routine where we will spend a long time in each pose. I call it awareness building, you know, because when you hold the pose for a longer time, your body will go through subtle transformations and you just want to become fully aware of what's going on in the body at every single moment. Okay? And it really also takes us back to the very definition of an asana. In the Yoga Sutras, the asana is defined as sthira sukham, sthiram and sukham. Sthira means very firm and stable, and sukham is comfortable. So we want to make the asana very stable first and then comfortable. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the word asana literally means simply a sitting posture. It does not mean anything else, not standing, not reclining, nothing. It literally means a sitting posture. That comes from the root word in Sanskrit, as, which means to sit. And then this mat, for example, this is also an asana. Whatever you're sitting on is your asana. If you're sitting in a chair, that's your asana. Okay, so Patanjali's goal was to make the sitting posture very stable and comfortable. That's all he said. Sthiram Sukham Asana, nothing else. But then this whole definition of asana has been extended now to include everything that we do. All these warrior poses, inversion, headstand, shoulder stand, whatever we do. All these are now called asanas. Okay. They kind of extended the definition without giving it a new name. All right. But then this very definition of sthiram and sukham can be applied to all these poses, whether you're standing, you're reclining, inverted, or whatever. Okay? And then the very next statement in the sutras is prayatna shaithilyam ananta samapatti. So there are two phrases there. Prayatna shaithilyam. Prayatna means effort, and shaithilyam means letting go. That means when you're in a pose, at that point, you should not be making any unnecessary effort. Okay, so that means you're not doing this. Oh my God, I want to get to my toes. Your facial expression changes. None of that. Get there, stay there, comfortable, very relaxed. Okay, so Prayatna Shaitanya means let go of anything unnecessary. Ananta Samapatti, that phrase is kind of difficult to translate, but many people have translated in different ways. But Ananta means infinite or very large. Some people call it space, whatever. Samapatti means deep meditation, deep absorption. So the meaning you want to understand with that is that whatever pose you are in, you want to treat that as a form of meditation, whatever you are in. Okay, so you get so deeply mentally absorbed in that experience that you become a part of that pose. That your mind is doing nothing else except being fully aware of what's going on. That's it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do that first for some time. And like I mentioned yesterday, I would like to open it up at least for some time. If any of you have a suggestion or something that different that we want to do, or if you want me to, if you want to work on a pose that we have done already, anything. All right. So we kind of leave it a little loose today. Let's come up on your hands, on your knees, get under the shoulders, spread the fingers wide, palms flat and firm, knees under the hips. As you inhale, head up, tailbone up, dip the navel down. Exhale, round the spine. To do that, lift the navel up, lower the chin down to the chest. Tailbone tucked in. Couple more breaths like this. This next round, take your time, finish the final sequence, spine back to the neutral position. Stretch the left arm in front and right leg back. Left arm, right leg. Lift them both. Keep them straight and look up. The arm is straight, pulled away from you, leg is straight, pulled behind you, and chest up, leg up, arm up. Now, as I mentioned, when you hold the pose longer, every moment you might feel a little change, a little transformation in the body. You might even start feeling muscles that never existed for you. That's the whole awareness that we want to build here. Head up higher, arm up higher, chest up. And then we slowly come down now. Pause briefly. Take an extra breath. Then do the other side now. Other arm and leg. Lift the arm up, leg up, pull them away from each other. So you can get a nice deep body stretch and lift them up. Chest up. Awareness on this movement or on this position and what's going on in the body. Breath, mind. Remember, these are the three layers we talk about: body, breath, and the mind. And in any of these poses, you can feel free to close the eyes so you can totally internalize the entire experience. What's going on? Release, come down. Pause. Sit up on the heels in Vajrasana. Do some Kapalabhati. All right. Speed at 80. Get ready. You with this? Go. Final sequence now. Inhale and forcefully exhale all the air. And then when you're able to hold the breath, apply the bandhas. Not familiar, don't bother. With the full sequence, just breathing. Get ready for Namaskar. Standing position now. Close to the top of the mat. Feet together. Just slightly apart but parallel. Nice. Firm feet. A little further up. No, move up. Yeah. Yes. Nice comfortable body. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale. Palms together. Inhale, arms in front. Raise the arms up. Pull them up and push them back and look up at the hands. And as you exhale, begin to bend forward now. Put the arms against the ears, hands pulled away, and then drop the chest, drop the hands. Bring the hands closer to the toes. Bend the knees, palms on the floor alongside the feet. Toes are aligned with the fingertips, left foot back. Left foot back, left knee down, buttocks down, chest up, look up. Right foot back. Downward facing dog. Now you're lifting the buttocks up, pressing the heels down. Look at your feet. Knees, chest, and chin to the floor now. Knees down, chest down, chin down. Release the abdomen down. Lift the head up. Chest up. Palms up, legs up. Lift the palms up. Legs are straight. Lift the knees up if you can. Palms down. Go back to the downward facing dog. Lifting the head up, we'll bring the left foot forward. Up between the palms. Knee down, chest up. Slide the foot a little bit forward. Left foot, yes. And then the right foot forward as you exhale. Legs are straight. If comfortable, then drop the chest down. Head up. Arms in front against the ears as you inhale, stretch up. Pull the hands up again and push them back. And as you exhale, straighten up now and reach the arms down. Relax. Feet together. Exhale, palms together. This time arms to the side as you inhale, up and back. Again, pull the hands up toward the ceiling, push the arms back. Press the feet firmly into the ground. Press the feet down into the ground. Tighten the thighs. Push the buttocks forward. Again, an extra effort to pull the hands up to the ceiling. Push the arms back. If you could close the eyes to internalize this entire experience. And as you exhale, begin to bend forward now. Drop the hands, bring the hands behind the back now. Interlock the fingers, pull the hands up. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale. Lift the hands up to the ceiling, pull them away from you. You exhale. If you feel comfortable enough, if your body lets you do it, then you can drop the chest down. You will notice that when you hold the pose longer, one of two things can happen. The muscles and the tissues can loosen up and you can go deeper into the pose. But the opposite can happen as well. The muscles are tight, you're not able to relax them, they offer resistance. At that point, take a step back. Do not push yourself through the resistance. When the muscles are tight, mentally make an effort to loosen them up, but they might not agree with your decision. And if that's the case, don't go any further. And we'll release the hands, bend the knees, palms down. Right foot back, warrior two. We'll go into warrior two position. So come up, body facing the side wall, arms horizontal, look over the left shoulder. When you inhale, pull the hands away from each other. When you exhale, drop the buttocks down. Bend this front knee, the back leg is very straight. Very straight, push the heel into the ground, toes turn and lift to the side, to the front. Knee should end up vertically above the ankle. That's important for the alignment. Knee should be vertically above the ankle. Left knee. So, yeah, that's beautiful. Move the knee inwards. This way. No, the other way. It's now this way. It should be like this. Yeah. And again, keep the eyes closed if you feel comfortable. If not, keep them open. That's fine. Every time you exhale, if you feel comfortable, you can drop the buttocks even further down. And as I mentioned, if the body begins to offer resistance, don't go through it. Come back up. If there's any muscle that feels tight, first make an effort to loosen it up mentally. If it doesn't work, don't push through the tightness. Release. Swivel the body around, face the front, palms down. Left foot back. Downward dog. Try to push the thighs back toward the back wall. When you push the thighs back, you feel that subtle flattening of the armpits, which might even lower the forehead down. Keep the palms flat on the ground, fingers, all the 10 fingers pressing down. They are spread about, fingers are spread out. They're pressing down, then flat, firm palms. Buttocks lifted up, thighs pushed back, heels pressing down, closer to the floor. Elbows are straight, legs are straight. Chin is on the sternum area, resting there. As you hold the pose, subtle changes might happen in the body, subtle transformation. Becoming aware of it. Where is it happening? What's happening? Which muscles are responding to this longer hold? Knees to the floor now. Buttocks all the way back. Push the buttocks back and down to the heels. Forehead on the floor or as close to the floor as you can. And then walk your hands out in front. So hands, you try to move them away from you in front. At the same time, pushing the buttocks backwards and down. Nice, good stretch for the whole body here. Keep the hands where they are. We will not shift the hands. Also keep the forehead very close to the floor. Then slide the body forward to get into the cobra. This is the Bhujangasana, where the chest is up, navel is down, elbows are close to the body, shoulders roll back. This is the cobra. Chest up, navel still on the floor, arms flat. Again, you can keep the eyes closed. That helps you internalize this entire experience. Shoulders roll back, chest up. Very nice stretch for the spine, for the arms and shoulders, wrists. As always, take a step back if the body offers resistance. If the muscles and the tissues loosen up, go deeper. Push again, go back to the downward dog now. Lift the head up, right foot forward. Bring it up between the palms. Come up for the warrior two on this side now. So the right foot is facing the front. This knee should end up eventually vertically above the ankle. Arms horizontal. Look over the, switch the legs. Shazad, did you do the other side first? Look over the right shoulder. And as you exhale, dropping the buttocks down will give you a deeper stretch on the knee, the legs, ankles. Inhale, pull the hands away from each other, get a good arm stretch. Optionally, eyes are closed. Feel the stretch. The left leg should be very straight, the heel pushing into the ground. Neck, turn gently over to the right side, looking over the right shoulder if comfortable. Close the eyes if comfortable. Again. Release. Again, swivel the body around, face the front, palms down, left foot forward. Hands are straight. Drop the chest. Fold the elbows now and hold the opposite elbow. Arms and shoulders are just hanging loose now. Just dangling down. The gravity might help you lower the chest down, but don't make any, like that, prayatna shaithalya. Don't make any extra effort to drop the chest. Release the arms down. And now the arms are dangling down. Keep them there and very slowly, one vertebra at a time, begin to straighten the spine up. Arms are still loose, very loose arms and shoulders in front. One vertebra at a time, loosening up the spine, straightening up, coming up. Finally, when you're standing up, spread the feet slightly wider. Place the hand on your waist. Join the thumbs together. Push the thumbs forward. Roll the shoulders back. Tilt your head back. So maintain pressure with the thumbs against the lower part of the spine. Head tilted back, shoulders rolled back, buttocks pushed forward. And then as you exhale, straighten up. Release. Let's lie down on the abdomen. Relax for a moment. Get ready for the Dhanurasana. So forehead down, bend your knees, hold the ankles. We'll do only one round today. Normally we do two, but this time we're going to hold it longer. So lift the head up, chest up, roll the shoulders back, then push the feet back into the hands, lift the knees up higher. Right? So like I said, we're going to hold it longer. So you have to be very careful not to overdo it. Do the best you can. Again, feel the stretch, the subtle transformation in the body. Shoulders rolled back, chest up, knees up if you can, pushing the feet into the hands will lift them higher. Slowly let go. Release and relax now. Let's come up on the elbows. We'll do the plank position. And again, we'll try to hold it for at least 30-40 seconds. More if you can. So lift the buttocks up, knees up. As I mentioned, the world record is 8 hours and 12 minutes. Okay. So we'll try a few seconds. Keep the heels pushed back, shoulders rolled forward so the body is nice and straight, strong body. Feel comfortable, keep the eyes closed to listen to the body at every moment, paying attention to what's going on. Where? What's happening where? In the body, in the breath, in the mind. Let's come down. Pause there, relax for a moment. We'll do this one more time, this whole sequence. Relax for a moment now. 4 key components of our practice: strength, flexibility, endurance, and balance. 4 key areas that we work on. Today, it's more endurance along with everything else. Let's try to come up one more time. Same thing. Let's see if you can hold it for some more time. Come up with the knees up, thighs up. Push the heels back, shoulders rolled forward, body straight and strong. Only if comfortable, only as much as you feel comfortable. Don't push yourself. There's no competition. We're not counting here. Release and come down with you. Let's roll over. Onto the back, right on the back for a moment. Feet together, arms back, all the way back, overhead, get a good stretch, pull the hands back, point the toes away. And let's exhale, coming back up to a sitting position now. Do the Janu Shirshasana. The twisting variation, but with the leg wide apart now. So first, hold the left knee, bring the heel all the way back. Twist the legs first. Now we're going to spread this leg wide apart, a little bit more wider, a little more stretch now. Deeper stretch, wide apart. This is still the twisting stretch, a little wider now. We'll wrap the right arm behind the back. Turn the body all the way to the right side. Keep the hand on your leg and slide the hand away as you exhale. Go as far as you can. If you can get to the foot, grab the outside of the foot. If not, grab the outside of the leg. And the inhale, roll the shoulder back. Exhale, try and draw the chest closer to the thigh. And because the leg is wider, it's a little more challenging stretch. A little more deeper twist now you can feel. So be gentle. We're going to spend a fair amount of time in this pose so you can feel the muscles, feel the limbs of the body changing. Subtle changes. We will also try and keep the legs straight so the knees pressing down. As you hold the pose, feel the stretch where it is happening. Is it the legs, the hamstring? Is it the knees? Is it your spine? Is it your shoulder? Wherever. If the muscles loosen up, they give you permission, you can go deeper. If they talk back and offer resistance, take a step back. And slowly with the next inhalation now, come back up. Just come back to the center. Keep the legs where they are. Don't shift the legs. Now we're going to turn the body to the left. Keep the legs where they are. Turn the body to the left completely. And then you can place the hands beyond the knee, on the other side of the knee. And then see if you can drop the chest down without lifting the right hip off the floor. Make sure that right hip is down. And then keep dropping the chest down on top of the thigh now. Hands wherever they are comfortable. Don't bother about the hands. Just the chest dropping right on top of the thigh. Make sure the right hip doesn't lift off the floor. Keep breathing. And very slowly come back up now. Legs down. Right leg is bent. Heel all the way against the groin area. Stretch the leg, left leg wide apart. Like I said, because the leg is wide apart, it's a little more challenging. That's what we're trying to do here. Right? The left arm behind the back, right hand on the outside of the leg. And the chest should eventually end up vertically, directly on top of the thigh. As you exhale, bending forward. Slide the hand away. Closer and closer to the foot. Keep it on the outside. I should mention that you should use a strap. If your hand doesn't reach the foot, use a strap.
I'm fine.
Okay. It's up to you.
Thank you.
As always, total absorption in this experience. That's Ananta Samapatti. That's the phrase that Patanjali has used. That means you're deeply absorbed in this experience. Every single moment. Only when you exhale, you may attempt to drop the chest. When you inhale, roll the shoulder back and away so that your twisting experience is deeper. Natural breaths. next inhalation, nice and easy move as you come back up. Center, pause there briefly. Legs where they are. Don't shift the legs. Turn the body completely to the right, all the way. The chest on the right thigh. Keep the hands on the outside of the knee, wherever they are on the floor, and then start bending forward. So the idea is to drop the chest on top of the thigh eventually. Place the hands wherever they are comfortable. You bend into the right, make sure the left hip doesn't lift off the floor. It's pressing down. Slowly as you inhale, come back up. Center. The legs wide apart. Forward bending stretch now. We've done it before. So place the hands in front on the floor. Legs are wide apart. And walk your hand in front. Forward bending stretch. As far as you can. In your final position, spread the hands out. So you can grab the toes or the ankles, wherever the hands reach. Now continue your effort to elongate the spine, spread the legs wider, and the chest closer to the floor. Very careful and gentle. Don't want to overdo anything. These are deep stretches. If your body is not accustomed to it, you want to hurt yourself. Anytime the body offers resistance, take a step back. Do not push yourself through that resistance. Don't want to hurt ourselves. Yoga is for healing the body and mind. Let's keep it that way. And as you inhale, slowly come back up. Raise the arms up. Put the feet together. As you exhale, bend forward. Paschimottanasana, where the spine is elongated, feet together, legs are straight, knees pressing into the ground. Sliding the heels away from you and pulling the toes back in towards you will deepen the leg stretch, back of the leg. Slide the heels away, toes pointed in, knees pressing close to the ground, down into the ground. Only when you exhale, you can attempt to drop the chest down. The next inhalation, you will raise the arms up. And as you exhale, release now. That's for a few moments. So awareness, that's what we are, deep awareness. All right, let me ask at this point now, two things. One, any of you have recommendations for something that we haven't done? Any asana that you are familiar with, comfortable with? You want to demonstrate or mention it? We can try it. Especially I'm looking at some of our teachers. See all of them here. Except Anne.
Good morning.
Bonnie, do you have any recommendations? And
I have some suggestions, yes, but since I missed a couple of days, you may already have covered these poses.
Go ahead, tell us, please.
One of my favorite poses is handstand, always. And Warrior 3 is another one.
Yes.
Revolved half moon.
Okay.
And then Viparita Karni. And then I put a last sort of Viparita Dandasana, but without props, that one is really challenging.
Let's try, show us one of these and then we'll try them out. Which?
Well, like I said, I don't know if you did some of these in the two classes that I missed. So
no, you demonstrated the handstand once. I know that.
I did the dolphin pose. Yes. Oh, I did the handstand too. You're right. Okay, we'll scratch that. Warrior 3.
Yeah, let's do the Warrior 3. Go ahead. We haven't done that. Come to a standing position, and you're going to watch Anne. Those who are online, she's spotlighted, so that's fine.
Up a little bit.
Yes. Okay.
So I like to just step into Warrior 1 because I find it's easier to come into the pose from Warrior 1.
Yep.
So I have my right leg back and I have
arms up. Yep.
So a strong reach up through the arms and a strong reach back to the right heel.
Yes.
And then leaning forward, transfer the weight onto the left leg.
Stretch the left leg straight and the right leg straight, bend forward. Eventually, the body should get into the capital letter T. Eventually. That may not happen today. So that's the idea. Leg is stretched back, lifted up. Capital letter T is the goal eventually.
Well, you all looking really good.
You can come down. Very good. It's a beautiful pose. Okay, the other side. Warrior 1, arm up, bend the front knee. Go ahead. Yep, face the front. Now, okay. Shift the weight to the front leg, and we'll stretch both the legs straight, bend forward, capital T. That's the goal. Come down, relax. All right, beautiful pose. Thank you. Let's try the half moon variation that you mentioned.
Yes, and I like to use blocks for this one,
Blocks, okay?
just because it helps me keep my spine
Uh-huh.
collapsing.
It's enough, I think. I think so. One is enough. Okay.
We probably need one block, right?
Well, I like to start with two, but yeah, we're gonna end up just using the one.
Yeah,
So I start in a standing tabletop.
okay.
And then legs are the same as we just did in Warrior 3.
Yes.
Take the right leg up behind you. And that leg's super strong. And then the left arm comes out to the side and we begin to twist without moving the right leg.
Look over the left shoulder.
Yes, beginning to stack the shoulders-ish, but they won't stack fully in this pose because of the hand position. Take the arm down first, take the leg down. That's what I like to do. And shake it out.
Move around, shake around, loosen up. Very nice.
Left leg. So left hand stays down. So now for me, one of the pitfalls in this pose is I forget that I have a leg lifted behind me and it gets really sort of limpy.
I did the wrong one.
Okay.
So strong leg and then take your right arm out to the side, beginning to revolve.
You're looking over the right shoulder now.
Ooh. So
Eventually, right shoulder wants to stack vertically above the left if comfortable, right?
yes, ish. So definitely, I think all the four that you mentioned, flexibility, strength, endurance, and balance.
They're all involved here.
Yes, all of the,
All right.
thank
Very
you.
good. Very beautiful. Okay, what's next on your list?
The next one on my list is the Parita. And I know classically you have your hips in your hands. But again, that's really murder on the wrists. And so I'll turn the camera down a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
The Parita, just the, I call it the shoulder stand, the baby shoulder stand. So classically, you want to get your hands under,
Yeah. Mhm.
take the legs up here.
Yeah.
But for most, that's not comfortable. So using
A block. Yeah.
the
Mhm.
tall block, now it becomes available.
Yeah. Vipreet Karani. This is Vipreet Karani.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
my pronunciation is not proper.
Very
So
nice.
I really enjoy this pose.
That's very great. Yeah. Okay. You want to try this?
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Yeah.
So remember, the first option that she mentioned is, if you want to try that, first of all, you're lifting the buttocks up, right? Now, as you lift the buttocks up, you roll the shoulder, place the hand under your back, all right? And then from here, you're going to lift the leg up and the other leg up.
Oh, wow.
This is hard. That's where the challenge is. All right. Now it's not full Sarvangasana. It's half Sarvangasana because the body is bent now. So,
and in a deep, deep back bend.
but now you have to put the block under the back, the tall side of the block. All right. Tall side, all the way up. Okay. And now this is a very beautiful deep stretch. Oops, the block slides away. Yeah, we work on that. No,
We are
resting on the block. Resting on the
we-
block.
we are tending to get into Sarvangasana.
You know, that's not what we want. This is Vipreet Karani.
Yeah.
It's not Sarvangasana.
Yeah.
So what is the difference?
Here the buttocks are resting on the block or on the hands.
Okay.
And head is down.
Is this all right, or am I doing something wrong?
No, no, your buttocks should be resting on the block.
And head?
Okay, let's get back to Anne one more time, if you can show it, Anne.
Sure. So the block, wide way
Yes,
and tall. And so it goes right under the sacrum.
yes,
So this is kind of a combination, you think of bridge pose and shoulder stand,
right, yes,
where we have a much deeper back bend.
that's beautiful, yes. Got it?
Okay, I want to see how you.
Go ahead, look at this first.
Oh,
Shoulder and head is still
On the ground.
Okay.
Shoulder and head is on the ground. Beautiful. You have to have the long, the tall portion of the block.
And can you show me with the hands on your hips, please?
Okay, go ahead.
so the hands are basically in bridge pose, or unless you do the full variation. So I'm not sure which hand position that you're looking for.
The one that you showed earlier in the beginning, before the block, without the block.
The bridge hands,
Yes. No, without the block, he's asking.
without the block.
Just using the hands for support. Yes. Yes.
So here. But this is again a massive,
This is a little tougher. Yes. Very nice. Okay. Very good. This is called, in Sanskrit, it's called Viparita Karani. That's the name of this pose. Viparita Karani.
What is Karani?
Thank
Viparit is opposite. Karani is just doing something. Viparit Karani. Karani is an instrument also.
Okay.
So Karani is a small instrument, but Karani also means something that you do. Okay. So, all right. So what else do we have? And
well, the last one that I put on my list, Viparita Dandasana.
which one?
Viparita Dandasana.
I don't know what that is.
That is basically your wheel pose, but with Shirshasana hands.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's
I don't
it.
know, you may call it something different.
I can't even do it because of my shoulder, but go ahead and do it.
Well, so I use a chair,
Mhm.
again, because it is blisteringly demanding.
Okay. Let's have some blisters. You guys want to come
Blister
over?
demanding. So
Just watch. Come over. And come over and watch. All right. So that's the chair.
So
Okay.
it's a chair, and I don't put it on a sticky mat because I want it to be able to slide.
Yes.
And so I'll push myself away out and begin to come down. So I placed a bolster here for my head.
Right. Okay.
Take my arms out long first, and then interlace my hands back.
Okay. Interlace the hands, that's like headstand.
Yes, so the hand is in headstands,
Hmm.
but the body is in the full wheel pose.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
The extensive form will be to remove the chair. The next level will be to remove the chair.
Remove the chair, exactly, that's what you
So in the full pose, you start in full wheel. Take the
Yeah.
hands into into the headstand,
Uh-huh.
and then straighten the legs up.
Oh, wow.
But that's a little dangerous for the neck.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, with my shoulder, I cannot even attempt that. So, but that's a beautiful pose. Yes. And
So that was my list.
what's the name of this pose again in Sanskrit?
The name that I was taught from my teachers is Viparita Dandasana.
Oh, Viparita Dandasana. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Opposite of
Dandasana. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our. Let's try the Bakasana also today, since we are doing all these things. We haven't tried that. We only did that once.
So Bhaji, can we open the window to for fresh air?
Good fresh air?
Is it okay?
Yeah, of course it's okay.
Want to come close? I can.
Thank you so much.
All right. Let's try what we call the Bakasana or the Kakasana, because it's crane pose when the arms are straight. It's in our case, in my case, the elbows are bent, so it's crow pose. All right. So do you want me to spotlight myself so you can? So remember, the hands are apart. You bring the elbows, upper part of the above the elbows, the lower part of the upper arms against the inside of the knees. Press them against each other. Shift the body weight forward until the feet may want to lift off. Don't push them hard because you can fall on the face, on the forehead. Eventually, legs will lift up. Feet might lift off. And then you want to stay there for whatever duration you're comfortable with. Okay, that's called the Bakasana or the Kakasana. You can actually use a block, place it under your forehead, that give you a little support. All right. Good, hurt yourself. Okay. All right.
Bakasana is also balancing pose. It is also balancing pose.
Of course, yeah, it's a balancing pose, but with a lot of strength in the upper arms, in the arms, wrists, shoulders, core. So core is engaged eventually. Once you get into the pose, you have to really engage the core. So you can feel that stretch. Okay. Let's do our spinal twist now. Thank you, Anne. That was beautiful. Really appreciate your guidance. All right.
Thank you.
Spinal twist. Foot on the outside, knee vertical. Optionally, as I always mention, you can fold the knee. And then raise the right arm up all the way back behind the spine, very close to the spine. And wrap the arm around, pull the knee in, or push with the elbow from outside. See what works for you. You can try to keep the spine up by pulling the neck up toward the ceiling, but very gentle. As you exhale, roll the shoulder back and away from you. Push the thigh in against the belly. Turn the neck gently over to the right side. The right hip should be firmly pressing against the ground, not lifted up. Keeping the spine elongated helps give a little more space between the vertebrae, which makes the movement of the discs very beautiful, fluid movement. They remain healthy. You can prevent problems like pinched nerves and bulging discs and all the problems that we have with the spine. Just a little more and then release, come back. Switch. Left foot on the outside, knee vertical, optionally fold the right leg. Left hand goes back behind. Switch the legs, Kunal. The other leg, yeah, that's right, yes. Very nice, yep. Go with the left shoulder, hold that shoulder back. Natural breathing, no change in your breath. Left hip pressing down. Shoulder rolled back. Neck only gently turned over the left shoulder. Just a little more now. Release them. Center. Comfortable. Cross leg, any position, any posture, any asana. Eyes closed for our moment of deep reflection now. So we're going to reflect back on our sequence today that we did, almost like replaying it back like a video replay in the mind. Again, as we noticed the body would have exchanged a lot of signals and messages with the mind. But look back and try to get a good feel for everything that was exchanged between the body and the mind. Which muscle, which limbs, what are the experiences that we had? Did we overdo anything? Are there any modifications, changes that I need to make? All those things we want to really become deeply aware of. Swing the hands behind the back, softly hold the right wrist. Exhaling, bend forward. As far as you can, stay there for a moment. Keep breathing. And as you inhale, slow, smooth, come back up. relaxation, lie down on your back. Yes. Go through our sequence to tighten the body. So if you're comfortable, sit up or come up into the half boat. If not, stay where you are. So legs up, head up, only as much as comfortable. If not, keep them down. Keep the legs straight, toes pointing away, arms very straight. Spread the fingers wide and tight. Make a tight fist with the hands, real tight. Open the mouth, extend the tongue out, curl it down toward the chin. Eyes open. The mouth open, tongue down, try to tense up all the facial and neck muscles. With the fists tight, pull the hands away from you. Squeeze the buttocks tight, thighs, knees, kneecaps tight, calf muscles tight, ankles. Point the toes away. Let's engage every single muscle in the body and bring it to a real tight squeeze. The whole body in a very tight squeeze, everything. And let go now. Loosen up. Allow the body to find its own naturally comfortable posture. You can spread the feet apart, almost the width of the mat. Palms a little away from the body, facing up. Head in the center, eyes closed. Most naturally. Mentally now scan the body from toes to head. Looking for any sign of tightness and fatigue or tension. Making that nice and deep mind-body connection where the mind begins to listen to the body. Perceive any kind of tightness, mentally sending in a wave of relaxation, loosening up, letting go of any tightness. And as the body begins to loosen up, start feeling a subtle sense of heaviness of every limb on the floor. Try and become aware of all the points of contact between the body and the floor, and also feeling that subtle heaviness of the body. Just allow the body to sink into the floor, very deep state of relaxation. And to enjoy this deep state of relaxation, we'll also set the intention to pay no attention to any thoughts that might come up in the mind. As thoughts come in, you might linger around for a moment looking for your attention. But if you can, we'll ignore them and stay in our beautiful state of deep relaxation. Let's enjoy that for a few moments now. Just bring the awareness back to breathing and begin to breathe slightly deeper breaths. Gradually begin to stretch the fingers, curl the toes, stretch the hands, feet, arms and legs. Stretch the arms back overhead. Get a good stretch by pulling the hands back, toes pointing away. Slowly roll to one side for a brief moment. Come back up to a sitting position. Sit in any comfortable position. You can go into Vajrasana if it's okay. We'll do Kapalbhati, same thing. 4. Okay. Final sequence now. Forcefully and completely exhaling all the air, and then apply the bandhas where you're able to hold the breath. You're done with the full sequence. Bring your breathing back to your regular rhythm now. That's the practice of Kapalabhati. Next, we'll do this practice called the Nadi Sanchalana, where we'll just do fast breathing, basically. So remember, in this one, we breathe very even breaths. If you recall, even breaths. So I'm going to start by closing the right side. This is what it's going to sound like. Very even breath, no force, no abdominal movement, okay? And very soft but even breath, not much sound, okay? Now, when you hear the tick, that's exhale. Every time you hear the tick, that's exhale, and immediately inhale. So one full breath per tick, inhale and exhale. All right, close the right side. Very even breaths. Exhale. Release the hands. Just relax for a moment. Other nostril, switch sides. When you hear the tick, that's exhale. Exhale, and then release the hands. Just natural breathing. Now we'll continue with the same rhythm, but this time breathing in and out through both the nostrils. So keep the hands down. Same rhythm, no belly movement. Make sure there is no belly movement. Put one hand below the navel. Not be moving. Final exhalation. Natural breathing now. Regular breaths. Nadi Sanchalana. That's the name in Sanskrit. Just rapid breathing. Wow. It's called the Nadi Sanchalana or Nadi Shuddhi or the Anuloma Viloma. Alternate nostril breathing. Vishnu Mudra with the right hand, thumb and the last two fingers up, right hand. Chin Mudra with the left hand, index and thumb together. Close the right side with the right thumb. Exhale from your left nostril. Inhale from the left. Close the left with the ring finger. Exhale from the right. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Left exhale right, and continue now. This pattern is established. Exhale from one nostril. Inhale from the same nostril. That's important. When you finish the inhalation, switch the other side for the next exhalation. Always exhaling from the other side. 1:2 ratio is our key guidelines. So try and build up your exhalation longer, eventually making it twice the duration of the inhalation. Very soft, very deep, ujjayi breaths. Full lung capacity is getting engaged. So when you inhale, fill the belly out like a balloon. When you exhale, suck the belly back in into a deep cavity. Next round, take your time now, finish the full sequence, which will be the final exhalation should be from the left nostril. Take your time, finish the full round, then release the hands. Natural breathing after that. Okay, so ready. Remember, I mentioned that I would like to talk about the 8 limbs of yoga. Stay back for some more time. We have folks here who don't have any computers, so I think I'm going to just talk rather than showing any slides. We just talk. All right. Might be better to show the slides. Maybe. You can sit close. I do that. Anyway, let's talk. We'll talk. It's okay. All right. So, like I mentioned, the whole objective of yoga is to eventually calm the mind. That's the only goal that that was given to us. That we know that. I mean, we need that, right? Mind is the basic culprit for all our problems. We know that, right? So we want to learn how to keep the mind calm, keep the mind peaceful, more focused, so to say. Okay. So, first of all, what causes the problems in the mind? What is the main cause? Why we are so distracted? It's
Vrittis.
vrittis. What are vrittis? What are these vrittis?
Modifications of the mental frame.
So mental state, it keeps changing all the time. Every moment it's changing. Right? Every single moment there's a change, right? There's some new thought, some new idea, some new worry, new emotion. Every moment is changing. That's called a vritti, that constant, change in the mind or the fluctuation in the mind, vritti. We want to minimize those or eventually, of course, eliminate those. Okay, but what causes these vrittis is everything that's going on inside us and outside us. Right? If I look at something, it's going to cause a vritti in me because I'm going to have an image and immediately 10 more thoughts will come in, right? So that's what's happening all the time. If I hear something, it's going to cause a vritti, but then immediately multiple other thoughts come in. But that's not the only thing. Even if I have my eyes closed, if all the 5 senses are shut, even then I have this beautiful freedom to pull stuff from the memory, deep inside the memory. Something happened 20 years ago. I pulled it out. Oh my God, I should have done it differently. I was such a stupid fool and this and that. And then nothing has happened, right? Just a thought. It can cause misery for you. Something that happened 20 years ago, you think about it and become miserable. Has anybody done that? Okay, that's the whole idea.
All the time, Subhash.
So the whole idea is to understand then what's happening in the mind, what's causing all this turbulence, okay, and then how to calm the mind. So the main thing we have to recognize is that there are these deep-seated past impressions which create all these emotions in the mind, all these thoughts. They are called samskara in Sanskrit. Okay, the word they use in Sanskrit is samskara, and also there's another word used, vasana. Okay, subtle difference between the two. Basically, everything that's stored in the mind, And So how do you calm the mind? So the whole idea is to eventually calm the mind. We talked about those two concepts called abhyasa and vairagya. I already mentioned those, right? Abhyasa is constant practice, and vairagya is a sense of detachment, completely non-attachment. But then those are not easy to attain. Especially vairagya is very difficult to attain. So what Patanjali has given us is this whole sequence of practices, a whole sequence called the 8 limbs of yoga. That's what he calls it, Ashtanga Yoga. So, so these 8 limbs of yoga, he says, when you practice them regularly, religiously, you will learn how to calm the mind. That's what he practices. That's what he claims. That's what he promises. Practice this on a religious basis, regular basis, every single day, for a long period of time, and eventually your mind will become a little bit calmer. So what are these 8 limbs of yoga? Anybody? Quickly. 8 limbs of
Yama,
yoga.
niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, samadhi. I'm missing one.
Dharana.
Dharana, dhyana, samadhi.
Very good. Excellent. So that's yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Okay. Okay. So what is yamas and niyamas? Yamas and niyamas are, they're 5 each. So yamas, 5 yamas, 5 niyamas. What are they? They are, I'd like to just kind of club them together as social guidelines, ethical guidelines, moral guidelines, behavioral guidelines, all those things. You can put any of those words in there. Okay, because they tell the yamas in particular, they tell us how to interact with others, yamas. And niyamas, inward focus, how to apply these to myself. So yamas are like, I'm just going to list them first quickly, and then we'll talk briefly about them. Does anybody remember the yamas? Test, quick test. All right, let me mention it quickly. Ahimsa, the Sanskrit words are ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. Okay. Ahimsa is non-violence, non-injury, non-hurting, not to hurt anybody, not to hurt the environment, not to hurt any living being or even non-living being, and not to hurt ourselves. How do we hurt ourselves?
By criticizing ourselves all the time. Yeah.
Criticizing ourselves. A simple example is overeating, right? Anybody ever done that, right? We do that all the time. That's hurting ourselves. Getting negative thoughts, that's hurting ourselves. Anger, jealousy, all that, they are hurting ourselves. That's non-injury. And satya is the value of truthfulness. So we want to be truthful all the time, only saying things which we know are to be completely true, and being true to others and true to ourselves. We tell lies out to ourselves also all the time, keep ourselves in all kinds of confused state of mind by telling ourselves lies. That's satya. That's ahimsa, satya. Asteya is non-stealing. So we don't want to make claims to anything that doesn't belong to us, basically. But then, it's not just non-stealing of material things. We steal all kinds of things. We steal ideas, we steal space, we steal, all kinds of things. All right. So everything. So that's non-stealing. And then there is brahmacharya. Is literal meaning of brahmacharya is Brahma means supreme being, supreme consciousness, and charya means to live in there, to walk in there. Char means to walk. So literally staying in the state of supreme consciousness. That's the literal meaning, but the common meaning that has evolved over time is to maintain sexual control. That's brahmacharya. Okay, so maintaining control over the sexual urges. That's brahmacharya. And then aparigraha. Graha means to grab something, to hold on to something. And parigraha is to grab a lot of stuff forcefully. But then when you add the prefix it becomes negative of that. No grabbing, no hoarding. HOARD, hoard. Okay, no hoarding stuff. Okay? Not beyond anything that you need very, very for basic sustenance. That's a parigraha. There the common statement is that we have to learn to distinguish between wants and needs. You have heard that before. Distinguish between want and need. What you need is what you need for your basic survival, sustenance. What you want is what you see it ad on the TV because your friend has something, all that stuff. Peer pressure, you want that because somebody else has it. Or you saw an ad on the TV or something. That's want. You don't need it, but you want it. That's aparigraha. Okay. So again, a quick repetition of these five: ahimsa, non-violence, non-hurting; satya, truthfulness; asteya, non-stealing; brahmacharya, sexual control; and aparigraha, non-greediness, not being greedy at all. Those are the five yamas. And what are the five niyamas now? Niyamas are more, like I said, they apply to yourself. So there are things like, what are the five niyamas? Shaucha. What's shaucha? Cleanliness, purity, cleanliness, shaucha. Santosha, contentment, right? Santosha is contentment. Shaucha, santosha. Tapas, what is tapas?
Meditation.
Tapasya, meditation, putting yourself through some measured hardship, okay? Doing a fast, not just food fast, but these days they all talk about phone fast, internet fast, Facebook fast, WhatsApp fast, all those things are involved in that, okay? So that's tapas, putting yourself through measured hardship, controlled hardship, tapasya, as they call it. So there is tapas. Then there is swadhyaya. What is swadhyaya? Study, understanding the realities of stuff. Study, deep study. And swadhyaya also means self-study. Swa means self. But to do that, you have to understand the reality first, to understand through reading the text, maybe all the scriptures, Vedas, Upanishads, anything that you feel like. And then applying that to yourself to understand your own self nicely. Okay, swadhyaya. Study is very important because that's the only way you can develop your understanding, your knowledge, your skills. Even if you want to do stuff in life, right? You're working on a project, you need to have deep knowledge on that. That study is important, then apply to it. Okay? Apply to yourself, see how you can apply that. That's swadhyaya. And then the final niyama is Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara is what? What's Ishvara? God. Pranidhana means surrender. So we recognize the existence of Ishvara, Ishvara being something higher than us, something more elevated you can think of, Of course, that then we have to say that it's the highest level, right? Ishvara is at the highest level. Okay. And nothing beyond that. But then you have to develop a sense of surrender. That means you recognize that there is something higher, and my ego, if it comes into play, I'm going to get into trouble because there's something higher than that. So I should have no ego. So getting rid of the ego and then recognizing the presence of Ishvara and then surrendering to that. That's Ishvara Pranidhana. Like they say, letting go, acceptance of what you are, whatever your situation you are in. That's all a part of Ishvara Pranidhana. So these three, Patanjali has actually isolated these three and put them as a Kriya Yoga in one place. Tapas, Swadhyaya, and Ishvara Pranidhana. So basically, for anything and any endeavor that you want to make in life, anything. Okay, when you want to develop a new skill, you want to work on a project, you want to work on a family event or something, you need tapas, swadhyaya, and ishvara pranidhana all the time. Tapas means hard work, real hard work. That means you have to really devote yourself, dedicate to it. Swadhyaya means deep understanding. Study as much as you can. Get to the core of the understanding of the topic, whatever it is working on. Even if you have to plan a party, do that. Tapas, swadhyaya. Once you do all that, Ishvara pranidhana. Let it happen then. Then it doesn't matter what happens, right? Things happen, not everything is under our control eventually, right? You've done tapas, you've done swadhyaya, and now do the best you can. And eventually, whatever happens, thank you, God. Thank you, Ishvara. This is what you intend. That's what I take. Okay, so that's Ishvara Pranidhana. Very beautiful concept. Acceptance. But not without working hard. And tapas, swadhyaya are two key things. You have to do that. All right. So that's the whole concept of these 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. Okay, let me repeat them once more time because you want to memorize them. Okay. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, 5 yamas. English translation. Ahimsa is non-violence, Satya is truthfulness, Asteya is non-stealing, Brahmacharya is sexual control, Aparigraha is non-greediness. And the 5 niyamas which apply to yourself: Shaucha, cleanliness; Santosha, contentment. Remember, contentment, we have to be contented with what we have, right? Tapas, hardship, measured hardship. Swadhyaya, study, deep study of self, as well as understanding the reality through scriptures. And Ishvara, pranidhana, surrendering to the supreme being. Okay, so those are the 5 yamas and niyamas. And the next limb in the 8 limbs of yoga is the practice of asana. Remember, as I mentioned, Patanjali, the only thing he had in mind is to sit. That's asana. He did not say you should do warrior pose, warrior 3, 4, 1, whatever, inversion, heads, nothing. None of that was mentioned in that Yoga Sutra. All he said is asana. Sthiram, sukham. Comfortable, steady. Because his goal was to prepare you for pranayama and eventually meditation. That's all he wants us to do. Pranayama and meditation. That's it. Okay. But then Patanjali gave us the guidelines, but people started practicing meditation. Okay, so they would sit for meditation in whatever posture they were familiar with. And after 5 minutes, guess what? My knee hurts. Oh my God, my hip hurts. I can't sit for too long. People found it very hard. Patanjali said, sit and meditate for hours. You can't even sit for 5 minutes. Shoulders begin to sag and hurt. Everything happens. Then these people said, okay, that doesn't work. We have to devise something. What do? Practice asana. Practice all the physical stretching, pranayama, all these practices, different practices came up. Okay, which will develop that same thing: strength, flexibility, endurance, and balance, so that we can now sit for meditation for a long period of time. The only purpose of what we do which is what we do is called Hatha Yoga, Hatha, Hatha Yoga. The whole purpose of the practice of Hatha Yoga is to eventually develop a body and mind and your breathing capability. Body, breath, and mind, they all go together. So that we can sit and meditate for a long period. Only through meditation can we attain that calmness, that peace of mind. That's the only way. Asana, basically ability to sit for a long time, but then later on, all these other practices have evolved. So that's the asana part. Then pranayama, that's the next thing. Pranayama is ability to control the breath in multiple ways. That's pranayama. And we have done this in the class, so you are familiar with that. Okay. Patanjali has given us all the variables, desha, kala, sankhya, those are the terms he uses. Okay. And desha means the location, with it one nostril or both nostrils, etc. I won't go into details. Okay. So based on the guidelines that Patanjali gave in terms of all the different variables that you can use, subsequent yogis, they have evolved, they have developed all these pranayama practices. There are multiple of these. We only cover a few, very small subset of those. There are many more. Okay. That's all about pranayama. And the next name is called pratyahara. What's pratyahara? Pratyahara is the ability to turn the senses inward. Senses. So now we recognize that these 5 senses that we have, they are a big cause for our fluctuation in the mind, changes in the mind, right? We know that. Anytime anything comes in through the 5 senses, it's going to cause all kinds of changes. Like I said, you look at something, it's just not the physical image, but all kinds of thoughts come around that, right? So the main goal of pratyahara is to learn how to keep the senses inward focused, so to say. So I'm going to turn them inwards, basically. From outside influence, turn them in so they are able to follow the mind. The mind is trying to say, okay, I'm going to sit down and sit and meditate. Okay, can you do the same thing? Oh, my 5 senses. Let's not worry about the outside. It's all the time. That's the whole idea of pratyahara. Turn the senses inward. And then the final 3 limbs of yoga that Patanjali has given, they're all stages of meditation. I think I have already talked about them on the very first day. These are dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Dharana is the initial state there where you bring a sense of focus, a sense of kind of a little bit of concentration. You can call it focus, you can call it initial focus, so that the mind is able to feel a sense of stability, some sense. That's called dharana. And there are multiple techniques of dharana. Even breathing, for example, can be used as dharana. Your breath can be used as dharana. And there are many other techniques. We use candle gazing, we use some chanting, loud chanting, all that is singing, kirtan, bhajan, using a mala, they are all practices that are a part of the dharana practice, because they all bring our mind to some kind of an inward focus. And then from there you transition to dhyana, that's meditation. Okay, and again there are multiple techniques of meditation. The one that I practice and teach is called mantra meditation. You take a mantra and then you recite that mantra mentally. Now this is a mental recitation, not loud, not audible. Okay? Anything that you do audible to fix your mind, that's under dharana. You can do that. A lot of people do chanting, bhajan, kirtan, do drum, ring bells, all those things. They're all possible ways to focus the mind. Okay? Dhyana is pure meditation where you are inward focused now. No sound, no nothing. Okay? Mantra meditation is my style, but there are many others. And then the final stage of this meditation is samadhi. Now that happens automatically. Okay, there are different stages of samadhi that Patanjali has talked about. But from dharana, when you deepen the practice of dharana, it will transition into samadhi. And it will also go through very different stages of samadhi. There are 6 or 7 that Patanjali has defined. Samadhi means now you are able to completely eliminate all perturbations from your mind, all thought processes from your mind, and you're able to stay focused on one single object. Nothing else goes on in the mind. So if you're chanting a mantra, all you're able to do is to stay focused on the mantra. No other thought comes in the mind. So that's one stage of meditation, samadhi. There's final stage is when that mantra also goes away. Total void, as they say. Okay. Shunya, in Buddhism, they call it shunya. Shunyata. Total void. So that's the whole concept of the 8 limbs of yoga. And what Patanjali is saying is, all you have to do is to practice these 8 limbs of yoga, and your mind will be fully calm, peaceful, fat, dumb, and happy, as they say. Nothing to worry about. All right. So those are the 8 limbs of yoga. Any questions on these? Any thoughts? Any other comments that anyone has? Please speak up.
Suppose even these deep saints.
Yes.
So, for example, Dhaneshwarji, Saint Dhaneshwar, right? He achieved samadhi. So they stop breathing after some point. How does that like?
No. Samadhi is a state of the mind.
They lose their life in the sense. Like
they live their life as a normal life, but their mind, the mind has attained a state where it's not going to be disturbed by anything. There will be no emotional upheaval. Nothing will happen. You're able to stay calm no matter what happens after that. If your house catches fire, you're still able to stay calm. If you lose $1 million in your lottery, in your stock market tumble, you're calm, you're peaceful. You lose some member of the family, you're peaceful, very calm. That's the state of the mind that you want to attain eventually. These Sant Dhaneshwar and all that, they're all able to achieve that state. They're still calm now. They've attained that state of samadhi.
So they lose the breath after like certain.
There's no breath. I mean, in the state of samadhi, you can't suspend your breathing. It can happen automatically. And there are yogis whose breath gets suspended for hours together in the deepest state of samadhi. So yeah, that can happen. And that is known to happen in the deep state of samadhi. Your breath can get suspended. But when you get back out of samadhi and you want to live your normal life, you want to cook food, eat food, or go work, whatever, breathing is normal at that point. Actually meditating and in the deepest state of samadhi, breath can stop. I have a cousin in India who claims, he says he goes into a deep state of samadhi and he stops breathing for almost an hour, he says. He doesn't breathe for an hour. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he claims. All right. Any other thoughts?
So, Subhashi, I understand all the limbs of yoga, understand at least, but pratyahara is something I really can't understand. What does a sense, taking senses inward,
So,
can't understand.
pratyahara, you see, it comes from the word ahara. Ahara means to inward, take something input to the body. Okay. So ahara is also word for food because food is intake into the body. Pratyahara is pratyahara, means that you don't take anything from an outside in, nothing.
Oh, oh,
So you are completely eliminating any influence from the outside senses. So if what you are able to calm the mind, control the mind, even if somebody speaks out your name, you are not able to hear that. You're not able to pay attention.
oh, completely shutting down the senses then.
Shutting down the senses, yes, completely shutting them down and not getting attracted to the five, objects of their attraction. Right?
Oh,
That's pratyahara. Yeah.
but how can we stop if somebody says something when you are in
Right.
trying to
So,
do meditation, you
there are
listen
few
to them.
there are practices like even the pranayama is supposed to create more pratyahara. When you're a very deep state of pranayama, you can get into pratyahara. For example, if you're listening to some peaceful, soulful music for some time, you're deeply engrossed. Somebody calls your name, you don't pay attention. You don't hear that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cricket.
Yeah. If you're watching cricket, they say, you don't hear anybody else saying anything.
Because we're too engrossed in that.
You're too engrossed in that. That's the state we want. That so engrossed that nothing else seems to register through the five senses. They are there. It's not that the vibration is happening there, but it's not registering in the mind because the mind is cut off from that. That's pratyahara.
Okay, got it.
Actually, I just had a couple of thoughts, and I feel that we, in general, do not pay as much attention to the yamas and niyamas as to the other practices.
Yep.
However, I feel like those are probably
The
very
most
important. I think part of the thing is that oftentimes for people who've been brought up in sort of a scientific environment like myself, it is almost colored with a sense of religion or religious practice. So there is a tendency to discount some of those things. And I think that is a failing for us. And the other thought that I had was that sort of the modern interpretation of brahmacharya, one way I now tend to look at it after a few reading, I mean, if you think about sexual continence, it's basically you're talking about like a reward pathway, right? I mean, it's something that feels very good and you seek that pleasure. But that in the modern context actually comes from very many different things which we are overloaded with, like the desire to check social media.
Yes.
And after a point, you're doing it, you're not getting any pleasure out of it, but you're almost doing it as a force of habit. It's like, what do they say, Pavlov's dog, right? Like you ring a bell and the dog starts salivating. So I think I think it's so aligning that brahmacharya to sort of tapas is kind of important, right?
Yeah, very
it's hard, but that's just the thought that I had, that it's in terms of modern times, it takes on a broader meaning with lots of other things which are easy access to reward, right? I mean, from an evolutionary perspective, these things were important for a species to survive. Reproduction has to be pleasurable, or for you to go and seek out food, it has to be pleasurable. But now we have so much food.
Yeah, you have to, yeah. That's why continence comes in that play. That's very good, yeah. Oh, very nice.
Yeah. But I also want to add that when you spoke about like the yama and social behavior, sometimes we get too attached to a particular thing like truthfulness, and then if there's something that's not truthful, we generate anger.
Yeah.
And it's like, even though it's not physical violence, it's like a mental violence.
That's right.
Because we want something to be truthful, but it's like no.
Then they are self-contradicting.
Right, right.
How to deal with that?
practice yoga.
First create awareness. I think.
Awareness here.
And
It's very
then-
hard. It's not easy. That's why it's saying that practicing yoga and then calming the mind and understanding the deeper meaning of everything in life.
Yeah, I mean, I can practice in a personal life, but not in professional life. That's where I find it
Yeah.
hard.
And pratyahara, right? So you don't get affected by external senses. And also one of the thing is mind is also one of the sense,
Okay.
not the amongst the five, but the one mind which will also affect your. So we just deal with it, not react to it, not respond to it.
That's right. No
Yeah.
reaction, not get affected
Right.
by it. But then, people take you for granted and then you have to draw a line, you have to step up.
Work on it.
Yeah.
We'll work on it. Let's
Work
close
on
the
it.
session now. It's almost 8:20 now.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
All right, so let's close the eyes. Sit up nice, comfortable. Relaxed body, relaxed shoulders. Let's recite Om once now. Take a deep inhalation. Palms together, head position, Shanti mantra. Inhale. Om Asatoma Sakamaya Tamasoma Jyote Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead me from unreal to the real, darkness to light, from the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. Peace, peace, peace. Palms twirling. Cup over the eyes, again covering the eyes softly. And join the palms, raise the arms up. Exhale, bending forward. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. With deep respect, I bow down to all my teachers, my gurus, and a special tribute to my teacher, Patanjali, for giving us this beautiful wisdom and the practice of yoga. Come up. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful